You are sitting in a meeting. Someone across the table yawns. 3 seconds later, you yawn too. You didn't choose to. Your body just did it, and you have no idea why. Most people think a yawn means you're tired or bored. That's the story you were told as a kid. But the real answer is far stranger. A yawn is not about sleep at all. It's a warning system. One that's been running quietly inside your skull for millions of years, long before humans could speak, long before anyone had a word for tired. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain runs hot, not emotionally, literally. Neurons firing, blood pumping, chemical signals racing through tissue that is roughly the temperature of a fever most of the time. And like any machine running hot, your brain needs to cool down, fast. That's what a yawn is, a cooling mechanism. When you open your jaw wide and pull in a deep breath, you're not just getting oxygen, you're flexing the muscles around your skull, increasing blood flow to your face and neck, and pulling in cooler air that flows past blood vessels close to your brain. Researcher Andrew Gallup, who has spent much of his career studying yawning at institutions including SUNY Polytechnic, found something remarkable when he tested this directly. He had people yawn while holding either warm or cool packs against their foreheads. The cool pack reduced yawning, the warm pack increased it. Your brain, it turns out, yawns to keep itself from overheating. Think about that for a second. The most ordinary involuntary thing your face does every day is a built-in radiator switching on. But that's only half the story, because if yawning were purely about temperature, it wouldn't explain the strangest part. The part that happens in that meeting room. The part where someone else's yawn crawls across a table and lands inside your own mouth before you can stop it. Why does a yawn spread like that? For decades, scientists assumed it was simple mimicry. Monkey see, monkey yawn. But the truth is far more unsettling and far more meaningful. Contagious yawning isn't really about your mouth, it's about your mind reading someone else's mind. Psychologist Elizabeth Cerulli and later researchers studying primates and dogs found that contagious yawning correlates with empathy. Not perfectly, not in everyone, but strongly enough that scientists now treat it as a kind of social mirror. People who score higher on empathy tests are more likely to catch a yawn from someone nearby. People on the autism spectrum, whose brains often process social cues differently, are statistically less likely to catch one. Even dogs yawn more when they watch their own owner yawn than when they watch a stranger. Why would empathy and yawning be tangled together at all? Because your ancestors didn't live alone. They lived in tight, exposed groups, sleeping in the open, watching for predators in shifts, depending on each other's alertness to survive the night. A yawn wasn't just a signal that one person was getting tired, it was a signal to the whole group. Your ancestor's brain, catching sight of a yawning face nearby, would fire the same yawn back almost instantly, a kind of silent synchronization running through the tribe. Scientists call this behavioral synchrony, and it shows up everywhere in the animal kingdom, not just in humans. Wolves yawn together before a hunt, lions yawn in unison before shifting positions as a pride. Baboons yawn as a coordinated signal before groups move location. In each case, the yawn isn't random. It's timing, a biological drumbeat that says, together, now. Researcher Teresa Romero, who studied yawning in wolves at institutions in Japan, documented exactly this. Wolves that were more socially bonded yawned in response to each other more often than wolves who were less close. The tighter the social bond, the stronger the contagion, which means the yawn crossing that meeting table isn't laziness, it's connection. Your nervous system quietly confirming, I am paying attention to you, I am part of this group, I am synced to you. There's something else hidden inside this, something almost nobody notices. Yawning doesn't just cool your brain and sync your group, it also marks a transition. Watch closely and you'll notice yawns cluster around moments of change. Waking up, falling asleep, shifting from one activity to another, even before a stressful event, like right before public speaking or right before a competitive athlete steps onto the field. Why would your body yawn before stress, when you're not even tired? Because a yawn isn't only cooling the brain, it's resetting attention. Some researchers now believe yawning acts like a mental gear shift, briefly increasing alertness and blood flow right as your brain prepares to switch states, from rest to alert, from calm to focused. Olympic athletes have been recorded yawning in the final minutes before competition, wide awake, adrenaline surging, nowhere near sleepy. Their brains were preparing to shift gears, and the yawn was the mechanical click of that shift happening. So the next time you yawn walking into a big meeting or right before an exam, it isn't a sign you're unprepared. It might be the opposite, your brain hitting the reset button, cooling itself, and gearing up. Now think back to your ancestors again, standing at the edge of the firelight thousands of years ago. A yawn ripples through the group as the sun sets and the temperature drops, and everyone quietly understands, without a single word being spoken, that it's time to settle in, time to watch for danger together, time to be alert as one unit instead of many separate people. That instinct never left you. It's still running in the background of every ordinary day. Every time you catch someone's yawn on a video call, in a classroom, in a car with your family, your ancient wiring is doing exactly what it did around that fire, reading the room, syncing your body to the people around you, cooling an overheating machine that has kept humans alert, connected, and alive for longer than history has been written down. So you were sitting in that meeting. Someone across the table yawned. 3 seconds later, you yawned too. You still don't know why you did it, but now you do. It wasn't boredom, it wasn't tiredness. It was millions of years of survival, quietly asking your body one simple question: are you still with us? And every time you yawn back, the answer has always been yes.